Starfield has a ton of skills in the game which allow you to level up and create the perfect character which matches your playstyle. However, some of these skills are more useful than others, and I wanted to make a video covering 5 skills which I found insanely good and really strong in the early game as you are just starting out your adventure and working your way through the galaxy. Now, this list isn't in any particular order. However, if it was, for sure the security skill would be at the top, and this would be the #1 skill I advise people to pick up, regardless of your choice being whether you want to play a stealthy roguelike character that sneaks around. Security is the hacking skill of Starfield. And essentially what this does is, yes, it gives you the ability to open up locked boxes and essentially areas that you couldn't loot before, but oftentimes in missions or just as you are exploring, it gives you alternative ways to move around the map and essentially also to complete objectives. Oftentimes this can also help you to entirely skip an area of combat if you're trying a pacifist run, or if you're not wanting to get into any trouble or alert people to your presence. So overall, this is just an insanely useful skill to have and to use in the world. Couple that with the fact that most likely your objective is to obtain some form of wealth. Security is a fantastic avenue to essentially start gathering up huge amounts of stuff that you can go and sell, as well as just oftentimes finding ammo and helpful materials inside these chests or inside these open areas, which absolutely can bolster up your character and help you actually progress further. For me, options has always been a big thing in Bethesda RPGs and games like this. And security for sure does give you options to solve problems in unique and creative ways, and that's one of the reasons why it is #1 for me. #2, and almost just as important as security, is targeting control system, which in a weird way I feel should automatically just be included. It is really strange that you actually have to spend points on unlocking this. But basically what this is it's an additional targeting system for you when you are flying your ship around. Now, by default, if you don't have this skill, when you do combat against other ships, you essentially lock onto them, you shoot them, you deplete their shield bar, you deplete their hull, they explode and they're dead, or they kill you. Now, with the targeting control system, you actually gain the ability to further on refine your targeting and actually target different subsystems of the ship that you are fighting against. This means that, for example, you can target the shield specifically, or you can target the engine specifically and disable the ship, thereby allowing you to get closer to the ship and actually dock with it and board it. Doing this allows you to do combat with the guys on the ship, and as you kill every last one of the people on the ship, you can commandeer it, fly it to the nearest city port, and register the ship in your name, thereby claiming ownership of it. So this is a great way for you to make a decent amount of money, but also just to establish a huge fleet of ships. Essentially, as you're flying around, if you see something nice and you want that ship, just do exactly that. Target the subsystem, lock them down, shoot the engine out, board them, kill everybody, take the ship for yourself, and profit. Scavenging would be my #3. In this game, you are going to be opening up a huge amount of loot containers, lockers, boxes, all of that stuff. And these containers are going to be the primary way for you to get loot, as well as get ammo and all those sorts of things. And what Scavenger does is it actually makes your looting of these boxes all that better. So every level that you put into scavenging, and you should absolutely put as many levels into it as you can, you will be gaining the benefit of getting more money from every box that you loot, as well as more ammo from every box that you loot, and then also things like medikits and trauma packs and that sort of thing. Now, this definitely adds up over time, and especially once you get to, let's say, the mid game, you're gonna have some really powerful weapons that use very expensive ammo, for example, and having an additional way for you to get that ammo instead of having to go and buy it the whole time and spend that money is obviously super welcome as well. That, coupled with the fact that you also are doubling up in many ways on the amount of cash that you sometimes get from these boxes, is just a double benefit. And over time, this skill will pay for itself tenfold for the amount of skill points that you've spent on it. In the 4th place, I'm cheating a little bit because I actually have 2 skills, but that's really because these two go so well together, and it kind of feels weird having one and not the other. But I'm talking about theft and stealth. Now, theft essentially is pickpocketing in this game. And stealth obviously allows 2 things. First of all, it allows you to increase the chances of a successful pickpocket. And then, of course, the other thing that stealth is good for is sneak attacks, where if you upgrade stealth a whole bunch of times, your sneak attacks really start dealing a huge amount of damage. So if you are playing a roguish kind of character, someone that wants to steal, that wants to sneak around, then these two skills are kind of like auto include for you. If you're playing a bit more of a law abiding character and you don't really want to be doing pickpocketing or anything like that, then obviously I think you would probably skip this, and that's why I have the 5th one for you, which we'll talk about just now. Now, one other thing I quickly just want to mention about theft, aka pickpocket, is that as you put more levels into this, the chances of you succeeding in this get, exceedingly better. However, the level 4 of pickpocket is super powerful, because this actually allows you to pickpocket weapons off of enemies. Now, this is super powerful, especially later on in the games, when you find specific enemies that have very decent weapons, or weapons that have several attachments that are legendary, something like that, that are fully upgraded, and you can literally lift these weapons off of them and essentially claim them as your own. So this can be super powerful, and even in some cases you could stealth up behind an enemy, loot its weapon, and then engage it in combat, and then it's actually not going to be able to fight you unless it's coming at you with fists, because you've actually taken the weapon off it. So again, giving you an option for alternative playstyle and all of that stuff. But definitely check out theft and stealth, especially the two of them together. It's just phenomenal. One other thing, sorry, I'm rambling on now, but I do also want to mention that probably the most damage that I've seen in this game is combining stealth with like a rifle and shooting stuff from far away and getting those crits, those headshots, those sort of things. This does a huge amount of damage. So if you're also looking at late game, wanting to be able to have super easy combat encounters, if you are able to engage from stealth, then that's also going to be something that this skill package allows you to do. And then last but not least, as I mentioned, it's possible that you don't want to do the whole stealth, sneaking around, pickpocketing, rogue, a thief kind of character. Maybe you want to have additional other ways for you to actually accumulate wealth, because the main point is you want to have a couple of different ways in which you can raise credits in this game. A lot of the cool stuff in this game costs a lot of money, and I mean that by weapons and ships and modifying those ships and building big armadas and that sort of thing. So you're gonna need a lot of credits. Even if you want to start building outposts, you want to buy some apartments, all of that stuff costs money. So if you don't want to go the whole stealing route and everything, then I absolutely encourage you to pick up commerce. Commerce is the barter skill of this game. Basically, every point that you put into it increases the amount of money that you get from selling something and decreases the amount of money that something costs when you buy it. So again, over time, the value of this skill will pay for itself. The accumulation effect of you essentially saving money when you buy ammo or buy weapons and all of that stuff will start adding up. And as you are bringing stuff back to merchants and selling it to them, you're going to get so much more for those. So again, you'll just really start seeing the effect of this as you put a couple of more points into it, not just 1 or 2. And that's it for the video. I think these 5 skills make the biggest impact for you at the beginning of the game and really increase your, let's say, power level. And I mean, power is not just about shooting stuff and doing a lot of damage, but power can also be the fact that you have a huge amount of money at your disposal, or you're able to accomplish missions and tasks in ways other than just brute forcing your way into an encounter and shooting and killing everything. So definitely look to some of these skills, possibly picking up all 5 of these in order, as I mentioned, because this will definitely actually help you out a lot when you're starting out the game, which in a couple of hours a whole bunch of people are, as we are coming out of early access now. So if you are one of those, or if you are one of the veterans that have been playing the game for a while, have a lot of fun doing it. Let me know in the comments down below which skills you actually like a lot and which ones you picked first in your playthrough. But other than that, it's just super important to me that you have a fantastic morning, afternoon, evening, wherever you are in the world. Till next video, fucking cheers.